Welcome to PrimePod, the show where we sit down with builders, business owners, and industry leaders who are shaping the future of construction and the trades. I'm your host, Breanna Wilson, and every episode we go beyond the job site to uncover the real stories and tough lessons and the exact strategies driving growth in today's market. Whether you're scaling your crew, streamlining your operations, or just trying to stay ahead, this podcast is for you. PrimePod is brought to you by Prime AI Partners, helping contractors and construction companies run smarter with AI-powered tools that boost leads, cut busy work, and grow profits fast. Let's get into it. Hey there, welcome to PrimePod. Today we have a special guest. It is Beau West from Montcalm Construction. He's a builder and a business owner known for bringing craftsmanship, quality, and integrity to every project. He does custom homes, renovations, and full-scale remodels, and he's really known for his attention to detail and passion for delivering a great client experience. And that's really what has made Montcalm Construction a standout in the industry. Today, we get to talk to him about how he's grown the business, what challenges he's faced along the way, and how he's keeping things moving forward in a demanding, fast-changing construction landscape. So thank you so much, Beau, for being our guest today. I would love to start off with you telling us a bit about Montcalm Construction and how it came to life. What made you take the leap into building this company?
Let's see. I was born. No, I'm just kidding. I moved to Nashville in '05 when it was crazy. It was pretty insane construction at that point. And I grew up doing framing and structural concrete and did a lot of that. So when I first moved chasing my music dreams to Nashville, I had to make money somehow. So I jumped back in construction. And I really loved how in the South, I'm from Oregon, moved here, and I really loved in the South all the old colonial and the especially all the trim kind of fascinated me because we didn't have like crown moldings and all that crazy stuff out in Oregon like they do here. And some of these houses from like the 1800s are phenomenal. So
Yeah.
I was just like blown away. So I joined a trim crew, and it was like the guys were fifth generation trim carpenters. So they did it with a hammer and nail still. When I met them, they had just changed over in '05 to nail guns. So that's kind of a crazy
Wow. So they're very old
blast from the
school.
past. Yeah, very.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like going to college. It was kind of like going to trade school. I had graduated from college, but with them, it was like being in a master class of carpentry stuff. So did that for about a year and then went off on my own, started my own business, which had a terrible name, Beau West Home Improvement and Carpentry. It was awful. But my wife was like, hey, this name is really long. Can we change it to something? Anyway, operated like that for a while and got kind of tired of owning my own business. I did a lot of like high-end kitchen cabinetry, high-end trim, came in and trimmed houses out, stairways, all that stuff, new construction and remodels. And I got to a point where the grass looked greener on the other side, so I went and was a project manager for a big construction company. And then I realized I had all the stress and no money. So I said, why am I doing this? I might as well own my own business again. So in 2000 and I started Montcalm Construction. And so Montcalm and then just full GC, started with small projects and then moved into where now we're doing bigger custom builds and a lot bigger renovations. Price point has moved up. Doesn't always mean the headaches. I think the headaches move up with the money. But and sometimes when I feel like the grass is greener, we do a kitchen and a bathroom. That's always a nice reprieve from like full scale remodel. So
Yeah.
we're in that space now and trying to be more in the custom build space. But how do I say this? I don't want to sound cocky, but I'm really good at doing remodels. So I don't always like having clients, but it'd be nice. It sounds like a fantasy to build a house and sell it and it be for me. That sounds like a fantasy. We're getting ready to get ducks in a row to do our first Montcalm build for the market. But
That's awesome.
yeah, and it sounds addicting and fun, but then you have to worry about the other side of it, the market and your margins, and really watch out on, when you're spending other people's money, it's great, but when you're spending your own on that stuff, you gotta
More risk in it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So I would say with the custom space and the remodel space, we keep trucking along with that, and it's been really good to us. It's been a little frustrating with certain things, but it's, scaling up, scaling back down, and trying to monetize that and all those fun things. And then I think our mutual friend Dusty kind of diving into some marketing and more technology, which I know you're very familiar with that space.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's
Awesome.
kind of the story behind that.
Yep. I mean, and it's there's always changes, there's always ups and downs in business. It's just how you kind of stick through them, right? So when you're thinking back to, I think you said 2016, when you first started this business in particular, what were some of the biggest lessons and maybe like warnings you would give to other contractors out there who are getting started?
I feel like scaling, don't take it for granted. I've been in this business since I was 17 years old, and I've just seen so many guys shoot to the top so quick and then they're bankrupt, you know. Too many trips with the family and dipping their hand in the cookie jar. I have seen a lot of people that has been that usually is a lot of the case is they scale way too fast and they either get out over their skis, let's say, so to speak, like they get out over the money. And either way, I think if they are too shrewd, then no one wants to work for them. But if they don't, so it can work. It can be. So I would say, number one, don't take scaling for granted or back down, which is the really hard one. Back down is where people are like, this party's never going to end. This market's going to be amazing forever. And these jobs will always be $1 million, and they will not. So I would say that would be number one. Number two would be don't try to do too much all yourself. And I remember staying up till 2, 3 in the morning doing my workers' comp audits and these things and payroll and it all stacks up and you don't keep track of it all. And then people don't get paid and they're not very happy, and
Yeah.
get some systems going early, especially even if they're a pen and a paper, get them going early and then move into like your products and other people's products to try to get those streamed a lot better. So
Yeah.
those two
Definitely.
things those two
Well,
things right there are probably the main things. And then the other things are, if you're used to working with your hands and you've got to pull back and do more of the business side, you have to be flexible in this industry, especially nowadays. It's moving so dang quick, and the guy that can do it faster, let's not say cheaper all the time,
yeah.
it's really difficult. And it's hard with sales. It's hard for me sometimes because I am very upfront with my pricing and I get underbid by the guys they underbid me. And then I get the client. I can't tell you how many phone calls. It's been numerous. Call me back and say, we should have went with you, Beau. This person came to like your price and beyond. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't my first rodeo. So, but it's
Yeah.
really hard to show people that, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think you made a couple of very solid points there. Easy come, easy go is one of
Mm-hmm.
them. Don't take it for granted. And also what you just said, like upfront, that's what I'm hearing from so many contractors that I'm speaking with. Some of the best, most trustworthy, well-known contractors in their area, they all have like a very much so transparent way that they work with their clients. They don't
Mm-hmm.
want there to be surprises. They don't
No.
want, the budget to unexpectedly jump up 100 grand. So making sure that you're on the same page as your client with that is huge. And then also, like you said, don't get too big without systems in place or else you're going to eventually crash.
Yes. Yeah, it will. It will. And whether you crash mentally, and that's where I see a lot of contractors just go, the burnout is real. And
Yeah.
you think you can handle the weight. And even with systems, the burned out can be real, because you constantly, the cash flow, the job stream, the in and out, and then dealing with we just got done dealing with like a bunch of warranty work. Do you have a system in place for that? Well,
Yep.
I have a pretty good system in place for that, but it can all of it can turn chaotic pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then you got clients, yelling at you that you're not there, the new ones, then you got clients yelling at you that you're not doing your warranty. So you're
Yeah, you're
it can
pulled in
get
a bunch of
really
different directions.
yeah, it can get really. So I guess my main advice is don't become a contractor. I'm just kidding.
If you've already chosen that, you're out of luck.
Yeah, exactly. I'm too far down this path.
Oh, that affects to it as well. You get to really impact people's
100%.
lives, which is
Yes.
awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, but there's also with any sort of customer client facing role, there's challenges just when it comes to emotions and, personalities and making sure
Yes.
that people are very clear on the process. And with building, there's so much out there that people think, that they're the experts on building because they've
No.
watched a lot of the DIY shows and things like that. Guilty as charged at times. Like I was telling you when I talked to my husband, I'm like, I think we should just do this. And he's like, well, there's a lot more to think of than just that.
He's like, you've been staying up late again watching DIY Network.
I'm watching my girl Chip and Joanne Gaines
Yes.
getting all of her design secrets and then watching Chip execute flawlessly.
Flawlessly, no editing and all that. It's
Never. He just
no.
takes out his hammer and gets to work.
Yeah. And it's all of a sudden it's done, and it's like
Perfect.
we were able to be, $40,000 under budget, which isn't a realistic budget in the first place. It's awesome.
That's the other thing. The budgeting gets me. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? All of my projects are so much more expensive than this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I find that interesting when people give me their Chip and Joanna Gaines price, and I'm like, no, just tack another $100,000 on it. We'll be good to go. We'll sign a contract and start tomorrow. So
yeah, for sure. Well, so with what you were saying earlier, how do you manage project scheduling, warranty work, new builds, renovations? How are you managing all of that day-to-day operations right now?
We are still learning. As long as I've been in this business, I'm still learning, and I have a lot of processes that need to be streamlined. So we are in the process of exploring technology for our managers and technology, because a lot of times right now it's way too many phone calls because I know all the answers, unfortunately. Now, my project managers are amazing. They know when to call me, when not to call me. They're getting very good at keeping things more streamlined and learning, like, hey, we don't like this to be like the Anderson job or this job or that job. And like, okay, we've learned from our mistakes, which is great, but I'm finding that in this space. And then my awesome bookkeeper assistant, amazing. She can hear me right now, so I'm just really pouring it on. She is phenomenal at keeping everything wrangled in. And about 4 years ago, I handed her a big ball of Christmas lights, which is in a big knot, which it represents our finances, our systems, and said, hey, can you untangle this? And she has untangled it. And now we are just starting to put the technology into place, and we're asking the people that know the technology to help us. How do we integrate this? Is this a waste of time? Should we really do this? And so we're right on the precipice of that, which is really getting us ready to scale if we need to scale, but help us out with operations where we're at right now. So I think in the present's important, but looking to the future is important too. So
absolutely, because that's sometimes people put Band-Aids in place. And I come from the technology world, and there's such a thing called tech debt where people will, create code, they'll create custom solutions, but if you get too much tech debt, nothing's going to work as you continue on scaling and growing.
Yes.
So you want to make sure that you are thinking of the future as you're implementing these tools, because if you're not, they might work today, but come, $1 million later when you're bigger and have more people, they might just totally crash on you one day.
Exactly. And that's why we have just started exploring that space. And it's really, I think when you know what you want and you know where you want to head, I think that's the thing is, plan and then execute that plan. And I think if you keep it short, and even if you tell like I'm getting ready to tell my project managers, hey, we're going to go forward with this management software. We're going to try it. We try it out. It starts not going well. Then we go, okay, this did not work. Move, and set a time limit on yourself. Don't just keep trying to, beat the technology, beat the money out of the technology, or beat the streamlinedness out of the technology, or try to conform your business so much to the technology that you lose everything. You lose that too. So again, a challenge, but I think if you set time limits and you don't try to go too fast, be responsible with scaling with that stuff too. So
Yep, most definitely. So let's get into how you've grown your company. Has it been mostly through word of mouth? What marketing tactics have you tried? How have you kind of gotten to where you are today?
Well, at first, when you're coming up in a good market, and Nashville turned into an insane market during COVID and a little bit before, and then right during COVID, it went ham. We had so many people moving here and so many people. Let's just say this, I had a bunch of money and no time. And then it's flipped, and then it can flip where you have all the time and no money. So I would say that for us, it was a little chaotic I could have 5 new jobs a week if I wanted at that time. And I wasn't very picky and choosy. I kind of just started taking everything, and really my goal was to bury us as deep as possible and then try to unbury ourselves. And that didn't work out too hot. And that was half of the Christmas light ball I handed to, because all the finances and the billing and everything just was, all right, bill that person, we need more money in the account. And then I look at the account and be like, we're good for a while, and then go as fast as you could on not really doing a good job issuing change orders and issuing those type of things. Yeah. So I would say that I had to take a pause about 3 years ago. And then about that 3 years, the market slowed way down. So I had to take pause, and we turned the boat around, which took a while to get systems all back into play. And then it started looking like we were going uphill. And so I would say that word of mouth has been my biggest strength, and people singing my praises. And even the ones we had difficulty with, having them come out the back end and saying, Beau, I didn't like you for a while, but now we miss having you around. So that's a huge compliment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you're going to get into, you're taking people's time, their money, and especially with residential stuff, it's just like, you're right. If they're in the house during a major renovation, I call it construction fatigue. People just have that, it wears them down.
They're eating breakfast with your guys. They're eating lunch with your guys, maybe dinner. They have dust on their counters.
Yes, constantly. And another thing is, I need to become a certified marriage counselor, because, mama wants this, dad wants this, and it just becomes, it can get fun.
Yeah.
So I would say the biggest was word of mouth for me. Now, working with Dusty, who is our mutual friend, that is becoming a little different. We're starting to explore, I had a good social media. Here's the crazy thing. Social media was like, I'd throw a few pictures on there, and they were usually terrible pictures. I'd throw them on there, and all of a sudden, I had one of my clients go, hey, do you know so-and-so follows you? I don't even know who that person is to this day. And I was like, no. And they're like, kind of a big deal, Beau. You should probably do something with that. I'm like, what do? I don't know what to do with that. Post better pictures or whatever. So I had another person taking some pictures for me and just putting them on there for a while. Well, that was generating. And then when we'd be doing a bigger project in an affluent neighborhood, we'd have big signage out and everything. And I'd get calls off signs and stuff. That's still word of mouth. But Dusty has generated our first leads are coming in from marketing, both social media and more of, he's got the algorithm thing figured out. Again, not in my purview.
Yeah.
And so that's just starting to pour in. And the 2 jobs I've looked at from that, and he's only got that straightened out within another ball of Christmas lights to Dusty. So kudos to him. He has now unraveled that, and we are starting to generate some awesome leads from that. So I am awesome. Tip of the iceberg with that.
Power of social media is crazy.
It's insane.
Now I'm dying to know who follows you.
I don't even know if that person still follows me. That's how out of it I was.
I'm going to have to go do some snooping after this.
Go ahead and do that. Hopefully they're still on there. I don't know if they are or they aren't, but it was funny because she asked me, and I'm like, I have no idea who that is. Are they important? Are they a celebrity? Are they?
You're like, who is it? What do they do?
Yeah, exactly. And now I can't even remember. That's how.
That's how impacted you were.
Yeah,
It really
that's how,
stuck with you.
exactly. They could have commented on like 5 different things. I probably could have had a $10 million house to go build, and I wouldn't have known.
Oh
It's
my
terrible.
gosh.
Terrible.
Well, you know what? That's okay. Hopefully they're still there. I'll tell you who it is.
Yeah. Another thing that just popped into my head about that is also I find that meeting with the right people, so marketing people, the algorithm stuff, and definitely socials. But another thing I've kind of hammered into is meeting with architects. Architects can be awesome advocates for spreading your name around, and I've had a few really good jobs from architects as well.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, especially because you can see in architects' work, you can see what type of jobs they typically
exactly.
do. And so
Yep.
if you reach out to them and you know that it's going to be a beautiful home, I'm sure that's
Yep.
exciting to work with someone like that.
And when a set of plans goes across their desk, they're like, that would be a good job for Montcalm to do. I'm actually going to meet with one on Friday for a commercial build out for a facial studio thing.
Okay, that's
So
awesome.
that could be really cool too. So we'll see.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
do small commercial too. So
Okay.
yep.
But it's mostly been a focus on residential, less on the commercial side
Yes.
at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most of the commercial are like tenant build outs.
Okay.
So it's like if the building's already built or I'm changing an old house that has now been zoned commercial and we go in and do commercial stuff. It's another set of rules and you got to really watch out because now you're dealing with a lot of people coming into the commercial space, meaning it's not just a family. You're worried about patrons, and it's a whole different list of codes, but it's not a hard transition when you keep it. Like I said, I only do small tenant build out stuff. So,
Yeah. All right. So I have a couple more questions for you.
okay.
First one is, as you continue to grow in your business, what does like the ultimate success look like to you in the next 1 to 2 years? Is it more consistent pipeline? Is it more time freedom? Is it better systems, which I guess could also translate to more time freedom? What does that vision look like to you?
I think for me, I think there's a couple goals in mind. I really want to optimize cash flow, and I really want to make sure. Sometimes I'm still caught in that 6 draws type of stuff. Like, hey, we're going to take one initial draw and then we're going to take this many draws. I'm trying to get it to the point where just weekly, we just know where we're at weekly and we're just hitting those markers as far as that goes. As far as success, I would say if we can optimize the cash flow a little bit, I feel like we do a really good job on that the marketing has kind of just fallen into place. I would say that time-wise, I think if we implement the right systems, the time is going to follow suit. So I think it'll be I do a pretty good job at managing my time, but it'll be a lot. I'd like it to be a little less chaotic.
Yeah, and more, one of the things I've noticed with most builders is that they can manage their time, but managing your time and making the most of your time are two completely different things, right? You can be with places on
Yep,
time, you can be that where you need to be, but
yep.
being able to be productive with that time and doing what you do best is a huge thing that I don't think people think about. You're
They
supposed
don't.
to be the face of the business, growing the business, scaling the business, talking to architects, talking to, people that can give you more business. But if you're running around from job site to job site, you sitting in your car isn't really doing much.
No. And I've started realizing that my biggest strength is going out and meeting with clients and gaining that trust. But if I can't pass that into a pipeline that is optimal, which it has become optimal and is becoming more optimal, but if I'm constantly and the financial piece of it, the cash flow piece of it, that is getting optimized too. So that allows me to go do what I want to do. I have a friend of mine that's a contractor. He's a really good money guy and he loves math and he loves to just like not squeeze every dollar out, but he's got the 5 computer screens with all the spreadsheets on there. And I'm just like, at any given second, he can print you out, he can print you out exactly what his company's doing at that minute in financials. And I'm just like, that's not me. I'm more of the, but not saying that that's bad, because he does really well with keeping everything with the
Organized.
finances organized. So I think for me, my strength is more. And so I would say optimal success would be if all these pipelines are running smooth and there's no clogs. Even if there are clogs, we have systems in place to take care of those. Warranty, those type of things, everything is just set. So I would say success would be lots of money and lots of time. No, it would look more like kind of knowing where we're at and also having just great goals and executing plans that get us to our goals rather than wasting. I think a lot of guys just don't understand that, me included, I'll put me in this boat, is that what you are spending your time on, like you said, is not always the optimal way to what you have planned. It's difficult to see outside of that eyesight where you're like, I'm moving forward and I'm doing well. It's like, no, you're just busy. That's not doing well. Yeah.
Yeah. Busy doesn't mean good necessarily.
No, not a.
One of the things that I try to practice is doing like a top 2 list of what will move the needle forward every morning when I wake up. What is going to make a difference? Everything else will still happen in between, but what are the 2 things that I need to do to make a difference today?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it's a start, right? Sometimes you just need to start small and work up. And, when you're feeling overwhelmed, telling yourself 2 key things to do will make sure you do them.
Right.
So
that's a good way to look at it.
Yep. Most definitely. I love technology, but I'm still old school. I will write them down on my little pad of paper and be like, check off, check off.
Yeah. Which is easy. And if you want to do that on some kind of, program, more power to you. They're using technology.
Exactly. It's like the one thing I still write on paper is my little to-do list.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, this has been so helpful. The last question that I want to end this with is, what do you think is a clear differentiator, if a client happens to listen to, or a prospect, I guess, for you, potential client is listening to this, what makes you different than the other builders around the area?
I would say I really do care about the clients when I meet them. And I really do. Some of my biggest things that I have been a little more transparent on saying is if you want a reference, check with this client and have them tell you about the problems we faced and how I moved through them, and have them be honest about that. I think what's really hard is when you're and I don't know how to convey it yet, I'm learning how to convey it, is I always try to make the client feel like I'm not going to leave them or screw them over or whatever their terminology is. So I would say, what was the original question?
What differentiates you?
Yeah. And I would say I really do care about the client's expectations. That's huge. And I really do care about, I don't want to be your hero or your best friend. I care that we do good business together and that the outcome is beneficial for both parties. So I feel like that right there, unfortunately, goes along the wayside a lot with people. And I feel like in this business, you get a lot of guys, and I don't want to just call them fly by night. Their intentions are great when they get going, but if they get in over their head or in too deep, I think the best thing you can do is come to your client and say, hey, this really stinks where we're at right now, but let's find a way forward. And I have checked with many a client. I mean, we've had, I could tell you some stories, but I really feel like those stories help us really show that we are not going to leave the client or leave them in a lurch or anything like that. So I have been the second guy in on a lot of different jobs, and it always stinks being the second guy in,
Yeah.
But I have always come in and just addressed it with sheer honesty. And also make sure you lose the people-pleasing thing. Doesn't get you anywhere either. I've gone down that road before too, and it does not work. You got to care about your business and your family first, and then let that show that you're caring for the client as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have clients, you're not going to have a business. So if you don't care about your business as your priority,
Yep.
your clients won't have a good experience either. Because if you're
Correct.
just, whatever happens, happens, that's not going to pay off for either sides.
No, it's not.
Yeah, that's actually very insightful. I think oftentimes people just think of it from the client side, but you do need to care
Yeah.
very much
Because
so about your business in order to have that trust with
and
your
when
client.
And when people see that, it kind of draws the client into it's funny because when people meet some of my subs, and there's a couple, my tile guy, everybody loves him. Enrique is phenomenal and everybody loves him. And both my project managers are pretty personable people. When both those guys go, and some of my other subs, people just don't get to interact with as much because, like my framers or some certain other people, they don't get to
Yeah.
interact. But the people that my clients do interact with, they're kind of like, hey, we love that we get to be in this group, in this Montcalm group with Beau. It's kind of fun, and it's kind of like it kind of gets outside of construction and transcends it more to like, hey, of course we're going to make your house look beautiful, but can't we have fun doing it? And a lot of people just look at it as like, this is not going to be fun. We're going to spend all this money, and we're probably going to spend more money than we thought. And everybody gets these notions going, and then everybody becomes a lawyer. And I'm just like, no, let's not do that part. Let's stream out loud a little bit and then wrangle that in and make it reality. And I feel like if you can, I'll just say this. I had a guy, he sat me down and he said, hey, Beau, and it was a job that got away from me a little bit, meaning I kind of the project manager was doing his thing. We were super busy, and I didn't do my weekly meetings that I do with the client. And they had asked for me to kind of handhold with them a little bit more. They had expressed that, and I didn't. We got to the end of the project, and he goes, Beau, the product without question is amazing. This house is phenomenal. You did a great job. But he goes, the experience was not the best one. And so I took that. I loved the feedback, and I loved that he was honest with the feedback. And I think what was awesome is we may do a little more work with him. We actually might do another job for him. It was awesome because what I got to do is have one of my clients speak directly to what their experience was. And so now I am very dedicated to the experience of the client throughout the building process. So I'm way more excited about the experience and what I'm committed to cause within that experience. So
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's where, like we were talking about, your time is very well spent, making sure that those clients are happy.
absolutely. And it doesn't take much.
Yep.
It really
Yeah.
doesn't.
People want to feel heard, right? At the
Yeah,
end
they
of the
do.
day.
And find let the weekly meeting if it's a smaller job, maybe a kitchen or a bathroom that doesn't need as much, decision making
Yeah.
and looking at multiple bathrooms and multiple spaces, you can make it a bi-weekly meeting or a monthly meeting, something like that. They don't always have to be, but we try to make it a weekly thing where I just touch that job for even a half hour in the week. It could even
Yep.
be a text message on a text thread with everybody. And
Yeah.
everybody's like, that's awesome. Cool. I feel heard. I feel like everything's going and we're great. So
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a great practice.
it is.
Yeah. And for, like you were saying, those smaller jobs, automating some of those touch points is really helpful too.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Well, this has been a great show. Thank you, Beau. I really
Thank you.
appreciate your time. I had a really fun time speaking with you. And to the listeners, thank you for listening to PrimePod, and hope to see you on the next episode.